What's up, all day family? Welcome to the show. I'm Brett. That's Lofa. We're here talking Seahawks football, even though our Seahawks season is over, but there's plenty to talk about. There is the Ryan Grubb of it all and plenty of other Seahawk headlines. And then we will also look around the league and talk playoff NFL football. What's up, Lofa?
What's up, brother? Yeah.
Oh, man. It's a weird day, everybody. I'll just tell you, while we're recording, man, there's these fires down here in Southern California. It was a wild, and crazy night last night. If you're in California, if you know someone in California, especially in LA, like obviously thoughts, positive vibes are with you. And I'm obviously painfully aware of this situation living in this city. And we don't want to like discount anything that's going on, but we also feel like it's good to give people an outlet and an escape sometimes. So we're here to chat football, but that's not without recognizing everything that's going on and feeling, people's loss out there, Lofa. I mean, it's crazy, man. Just like Hawaii, just like LA a couple of years even ago, like this stuff just keeps happening and it's wild.
No, well said, partner. And yeah, thoughts, prayers, and I'm reaching out. I got a lot of friends and family in LA too, so checking on them and making sure they're all right. And yeah, man, it's horrible.
Yeah,
I think that's the only way to describe it. It's horrible.
Not even over yet. Like I don't know. Places to go volunteer later this afternoon. Katie is too. I mean, it's a weird. I mean, it's eerie. Katie said eerie. It's eerie feeling down here. But we soldier on. So Seahawks, man, Seahawks news. Both of us need to take it on the chin, I think, right away because we were wrong, flat wrong. Both of us said
completely wrong.
Grubb would make it through the offseason and that they'd at least try to start next season with him, but they part ways, and I guess I'll just get your initial reaction,
man. I was surprised. I think, like everybody, like 1 year, it's not a big enough sample size. Didn't think it was a horrible year. I mean, for what, I take everything into account, all the injuries we had, especially on the O-line, the combinations of people starting there, including rookies and young guys. Even Olu's only in his second year, and this is like really his first time getting real experience. He looked good, but then he got hurt in the Green Bay game, and Sundell came in, and so it's just I feel for Grubb in that manner, but as the leader of that entire operation, I don't think it was clean enough at times, and I think I referenced it a lot in the live last week when we watched the Rams game. Just so many times, wasn't even, and I'll get to the run game or lack thereof, but there were so many times we're going to the line of scrimmage with 10 seconds. And Gino's got to call 2 plays. Yeah. And that's hard for a young offensive line. Like, there's a lot going on in there. Okay, yeah, the receivers, DK, Tyler, Gino, they can handle the volume of information, but a young guy can't. And so that's when, remember in the bye week, I was like, let's just get simpler.
Yeah.
I go, let's use some pullers. We did all that. And I was like, okay, he's back. He's pivoted. Yes, it worked. He's pivoted, and it's going to be great from here on out. And then after 3 games of winning or 3 or 4 game win streak, we just went right back to where we were before the break and throwing the ball 40 times and running it 12 or 10.
Yeah, I mean, I hope maybe Gino can cut Grubb a commission check on the way out, though, because Gino was able to hit those marks in that offense. So something was working some of the time. I don't know. I'm with you. I don't know how much of this actually, though, I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised they didn't give him a little more just based on everything that you just brought up that he was dealing with. And then I think he overcame at times. I think, this could be a bit of like somebody needed to go a bit to me. It feels like I feel bad for him in that. I don't know. I heard McDonald talking about it. And what's weird is no one gives an answer these days on anything. Everybody just says, like his answer was quite literally like, well, I kind of want to just keep that internal. And I'm, it was just, he gave a non-answer, really. But if you read between the lines, I wish I had it. But Katie, you heard it too. It was like,
I trust you, partner.
Like, look, those conversations I want to keep internal, and I don't really want to give too much away. And we just didn't really basically didn't see eye to eye, almost is what he was saying, or like that his sort of idea of what the offense should be was not what they were doing,
His
and so
vision.
creative differences, I think that
There you go.
you know. So yeah, I don't really know what he means by that. You can read a lot into it.
It
whether
felt very benign what he said. I was like, why are
Yeah.
you even weird about
Well,
what
and
he
he-
just said? Because that's totally understandable. Like, you didn't agree on how to move forward, so don't do it together, and that's fine to say.
That's fine. Yeah, just kind of give the answer though. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people in all different arenas right now, like you get asked a question and people just kind of don't want to answer, even though
Yeah.
they're the ones that made the decision
Yeah.
that you're asking about.
Yeah.
Whatever. Either
It's
way,
like, what were you thinking? And then you don't want to tell you what you were thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, just say I wanted to run the ball more or something like that. Or I because that's the thing is now I'm reading into his answer a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like there was just a difference in philosophy of like either, and we don't know because he didn't answer, but like, was it he wanted to run first and Grubb wanted to throw first, or was it that we'd abandon the run game like in those moments and they wouldn't go back to it, and he's maybe Max calling for it and they're not calling? I mean, so now I'm actually have way more questions.
Just spawn more questions. Partner, as I just like think about the whole season, okay, 10-7, and we're upset, right?
Right.
Because we missed the playoffs, and I get that, but there were times I think over the course of the year where we had no identity, obviously. Like there's nothing that we can go back to like, oh, we ran the ball other than that Arizona game. There's no on the road. There's no other game that could be like, oh yeah, we dominated that line of scrimmage and we, took it to them. And I think that was an element that was missing, that McDonald, with his history with the Harbaugh brothers, right, at Michigan and then over at Baltimore, that's how, he's learned the system to be built. And so that's what I think he's searching for. But then I go back to, the penalties and, illegal shifts, and not even with the young guys. This is with some of the veterans. So I think there's a lot that went into this. Mike is a very calculated guy. I still haven't met him. Hope to meet him one day. But he's a very, I think this was probably when we saw those moves at the bye week with the players, right? I think this was probably on his mind too. And then as we kind of surged out of that bye week, it kind of like, okay, we fixed it. Like they probably had some tough conversations and we're back. Yeah. And then I just think at the end, I think making the playoffs would have saved it, would have saved him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I have a quote here. It's so here. This is what I mean. This is Mike McDonald on why they moved on from Grubb. He says, "It's not like we, meaning him and Grubb, weren't together on this thing the whole ride of the way. We just decided it was the right decision to make. And there's some specifics that I will leave that to Ryan and I's conversations today and throughout the season. But we want to mirror our football team. All the things that we've been talking about, we feel like it isn't that we weren't doing those things on offense throughout the year. We've done a lot of great things, but we want our offense to be a physical unit and dictate terms of the defense, play complementary football, and get the ball to our playmakers frequently and in space, and let our quarterback play fast." Ooh, so up tempo maybe. So we were doing a lot of those things offensively, just decided to go in a different direction. So it's in there somewhere.
No, I heard a lot in there.
Right,
It was the plan worked.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't stick with the plan,
mm-hmm.
right? Up tempo, like you said, physical, like I said, and then bring it all together. It just like, if it's working, keep going with it. And I think Grubb is a really masterful play designer. Now, play caller and timing, those are two different things. Yeah. And so I feel like just that play where he had Sharps, he had a high-low on the flat defender, and that poor linebacker, he's in no man's land. He's just, okay, he thinks it's a screen, so Fant just goes right by him, and Gino hits him on right up the sideline. That is a beautiful play design where it was schemed properly, and he knew they were going to be in that defense. Okay, but then other times, the timing of some of the calls, and then not running in the red zone. I think these are the things that he had a problem with in terms of McDonald had a problem with, because like there were times where the defense was left out there. They played a good game, but they're just playing a lot of plays. And like the offense has 2 drives in a quarter. We're getting tired on defense. So complimentary. Those are all the things he just spoke to in that, even though it was very convoluted way of saying everything I just said, and I just broke it down.
It's a very 34-year-old way of answering. Yeah.
But I do respect that about him. Is like, those are private conversations that me and Grubb had. And if he wants to share them, he can share them. And I doubt Grubb will, because, he's a grown ass man too. And he's going to be, it's a learning experience, right? Anytime you get an opportunity and it doesn't pan out, and Grubb will be better for this. And, I really think he is an unbelievable play designer. And now just get that timing and that calling aspect of, because going from college to the NFL, that's how every college, they are throw first to open up the run. In the NFL, what we're going to see in the playoffs, that is not how these guys operate.
I'll get to the Bet Online read in 1 second. I just want to make the point that I think where you're talking about physical also, I mean, third and short, fourth and short, the play calls there left a lot of Seahawks fans scratching their heads sometimes. Why are we not just sort of getting physical, running straight ahead? I mean, sort of that old school smash mouth mentality that I know you and I look for. And so I just want to say, going forward here, we better be getting that going forward from here then, because I mean, McDonald just said basically that's who they want to be. That's what they want to do. That's what we want to see. So next year, if we're throwing a fly sweep on 3rd and 2,
we're going to be having the same conversation next year on the All Day podcast.
Well, and we're going to be looking at Mac at that point too, just going, okay, well, Grubb isn't here anymore. So, come on now. Bet online though. Bet online. If you're going to be betting on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 next year, bet that they'll run it or try to smash it down the defense's throat. Go to betonline.ag. If you want to use the web browser, use BetOnline's mobile app available in any app store for the earliest odds and in-game live betting on anything from the NBA to college basketball, NHL, UFC, obviously the NFL playoffs and the college playoffs still going. The Final Four still going tonight, right? Thursday?
Yeah.
Yes. College football. Head to Bet Online today. Don't forget to use our promo code
BELIEVE, spelled BLEAV.
All caps for the welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online. The game starts here. So I guess that leads me to ask, where do we go from here? Who do they go to next? Is there anyone that you like? Maybe, that you haven't even heard mentioned out there, Lofa, but also from a style aspect, I mean, I think whoever they are bringing it in is going to be a run first, smash mouth, 2 yards in a cloud of dust type coach. And I can't wait for it. I hope that person is old and grizzled and grumpy, just like us. I don't know. What do you want?
I want anybody that is next in line out of the McVay coaching tree. So wait, is your boy LaFleur, is he the OC?
That's my buddy. Yeah.
Is he the OC? Okay, well, usually OCs don't go from one to, he'll be a head coach, in waiting. So good for him. But then
one in the room.
He's grooming somebody over there to, replace LaFleur. So let's just go ahead and leapfrog him and steal McVay's future protege.
All right.
Because that or Ben Johnson's, right? And because just the way they do run the ball. I mean, Kyron Williams had like 1,400 yards, and no one's talking about him. But it's a lot because he is a great running back, but and he gets the yards after contact. But that the O line and the scheme and the way they get players open in space, which is what McDonald just referenced in that statement.
Right.
Those are things that because That's what I'm saying about, K9 is like, oh my God, if this guy goes somewhere else and they get him in space,
right,
he's going to be what we all know he is.
Right.
So just I feel like I don't have a particular name in mind. And going back to his Baltimore days.
Well, sorry.
Going back to his Baltimore days, like he's got that tree to pull from, and then also now that Harbaugh has guys over in LA too, he's got plenty of candidates that he knows of, and then he knows the style that works.
Yeah. Ben Johnson's going to be a head coach though too, don't you think? I mean, because his name's been out there for a few years now.
Yeah, he declined some jobs last year,
Right.
Just because, and I think I said, I was like, yo, that a lot of guys, they think that's their only opportunity and they just jump at it, even though it might be a horrible situation. They got the confidence. They're like, hey, I can bring the culture, I can bring all the scheme. And it's like, dude, it takes a lot to turn around. That's why I was so impressed with McDonald. We had a lot of pieces, but to get the buy-in and get the guys believing and pulling in the same direction, and not fighting, resisting change, 10-7 as the first time. It's the best start to any coaching career in Seattle. And I mean, I have to check it out, but like, I can't name many guys that started that well in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, totally. You kind of spoke to it about like style wise with McVay there, but I mean, we don't like to talk about division rival coaches and give them too many flowers. Since our season's over. I mean, McVay's a guy who's building quite a coaching tree and, reminiscent of a lot of coaches from the past coaching trees, really. I mean, so I can see why you'd want to pull from there, but do you want to get even more specific on that?
Yeah. Just the way he teaches, and I've never been in one of his meetings, but when I see a young guy grasp it that quickly, because it's just he's a great teacher of the game. And it doesn't matter what position, whether it's O-line, running back, quarterback, he has that thing figured out. And then receivers too. It's awesome to watch. It's like really impressive as, I former player, but also former coach for 2 years. And it's just, and his timing, his play calling timing. I remember sitting in the box and I was watching and I go, oh God, here it comes. When they were at the 40, I go, this is shot territory. I guarantee you it's play action boot and they're going to go for it. And that's when I think it was DeMarcus Robinson hit us and won the game. And it's the same thing I would do. This is what I'd be alerting my guys on defense. Like, hey, fellas, if you're back, stay back. And I mean, anybody in coverage that has deep thirds, just bail. And if it's run, we'll cover it up. And, so just that timing aspect is so crucial. And the way he uses receivers, right? He inserts them into the run game to add an extra lane, 2 lanes, 2 holes open up on anytime it's a hole divider, like a fullback would be used. He does it with a receiver. And so the innovation that he provides, and it gives a lot of problems because now you're putting a cornerback or a safety into that run fit with the corner having to fill too.
Yeah.
And it's masterful. I love watching it.
Yeah. Well, and the vibe check passes for me. I got to admit, McVay comes on the scene. He's got too much LA looks in his hair. It's a little crispy up there. He's kind of a cheese ball, kind of a cornball. He's on a division rival. I have to hate him I have to hate on him. I mean, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if I can step back for a second and just sort of view it from above, like you got to respect the guy. Like the vibe check passes with like just his confidence, like the sort of like what he brings to his team, the way that his team plays. I mean, honestly, like not a lot of people talk about the Rams season in and season out, like preseason, and then there they are constantly winning the division. And
I do.
You do, I know. Well, and so well, that's my point too, right? Like it works. Also, I noticed like his whole staff sort of like has a vibe. Like he brings like a sort of energy to like the entire sort of program, so to speak, almost like Pete would speak of like a program. You can tell that like everything's done with intention and things like that. So I think even to your point, even like beyond the football and X's and O's, like there's things that a coach from his sort of family might be able to bring culture wise, especially to like a young team with a young head coach. I mean, McVay is a young dude who seems to get that. He gets it. He gets that vibe, that young thing. He's like Gruden, right? I mean, and he came from Gruden.
Yeah.
Very Gruden vibe to me, where he gets the young guys and knows how to talk to them and vibe with them and get obviously great things out of his players.
But he also gets the vets. I mean, let's not forget when he first got the head coach. Now, what was he, 30 or 31? And Andrew Whitworth was like 36. Like, that's, and then, even I think Stafford might be the same age as him. Like, so it's, it's incredible to have that kind of communication and relationship skills, because that's what you need. Like, everything's based off relationship and respect, and they have a mutual respect, between that whole player and coach dynamic all the way down to the front lines. And yeah, and he's a great leader.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know if they'll name someone before the playoffs are over, because someone they're going after could still be in it. Right. So, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll see what happens with whoever they do name, and then what that can mean for like free agency, and then, what they're doing, bringing guys in and moving guys around. Because depending on who they bring in, it might attract certain free agents of a certain type to come here. And that'll be really fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Cause everybody has their own scheme, and there's certain body types and speed element that fit, that scheme. So it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds.
And what it means for, players that are currently here, for Gino, for DK, for, players people have been talking about, rumored to either be trade pieces or, people wondering what we're going to do contractually with a lot of guys. So I think, if you're DK, if you're K9, if you're Gino, if you're on the offensive side of the ball, you're kind of sitting around waiting for your phone to blow up and figure out who they hired, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you're professional, and just, you make the best of whatever situation. So you can't put too much thought into the future. Just, you get your rest right now since your season's over. And this is where a lot of teams that are playing late into February, they're behind in their recovery. Even though I don't care how many great players they have in their roster, that extra wear and tear. I mean, we saw it catch up to San Fran, as I said it would, playing in 2 Super Bowls and three NFC championships over the last 5-6 years. It's hard. You have windows, and like right now, our window just opened.
Hell yeah! I'm ready to run through a wall. Oh yeah, everybody. Who do you guys want to see them pick up, or what kind of style do you want to see them be playing with? I mean, I'm sure the chat's popping off with who they want, and keep filling that chat up. Also, go ahead and click this link real quick, copy it, send it to a friend, send it to a fellow Seahawks fan, and let's keep growing this all-day family. Lofa, that's really all I got for Seahawks news.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I can remember anything else. There's nothing else that really came to mind. Did former Seahawk, did Pete go interview?
Oh, did he have an interview? I don't know.
I had a couple people text me yesterday that said he's visiting Chicago. I'm not sure.
Ooh, producer Katie can try to put that into Google. We'll see.
Yeah, he's a big basketball guy. Maybe he's watching a Bulls game. Who knows?
But knowing Pete, he's just there for shoot around, and he's out there dropping.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So from around the league, then, man, playoffs, going to be starting up here. Is there a place you want to start, or a team you want to start with, or should I just start reading off headlines to you?
Yeah, let's just read off matchups or headlines, whatever you want, however you want to take it apart, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Well, I guess, I got Ben Johnson on here, but they got a bye, and that was my way to talk about him. We already kind of talked about him. Which matchup do you think? Which is the most intriguing matchup this weekend? I think. I don't know. The Rams, to me.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to start too.
Yeah, and oh man, this is not a Rams podcast, I promise. But
yeah,
I live down here. Maybe they're starting to seep into my brain or something. But it's interesting to me. I really want to see what they can do, because they flew under the radar for a lot of the season, but they're playing good football late.
Yeah. So this will make Seahawks fans happy. The Rams choosing to rest their players because they're experienced. This is, another thing that McVay, he's a smart guy, but careful what you wish for, because to me, and I said this when he rested him, he's not worried about any of the NFC North teams. He's not worried about the Lions or the Vikings. Whoever lost that game fell and became the matchup for him. And I think it plays for him favorably, but, a team like that just got embarrassed. They are going to practice their ass off, and they're going to be ready to fight.
True.
and they got one of their former own, Cam Akers, and Aaron Jones. He wasn't one of theirs, but the other guy that rushed for 6'5", a carry, and I don't know why they didn't keep handing him the ball. Cam Akers was going off. They chose to throw the ball 42 or 43 times with Darnold, and I don't think that's what we're going to see because the pass rush that the Rams have is very capable of making the same kind of game that the Lions had. So be careful what you wish for, right? You let them in, or you chose them, which I think was smarter than choosing a somehow 12-5, Commanders team that I can't even say that they're hot. All I can say is they believe. They have that factor. Dan Quinn and them have that factor of like, hey, it's never over. And we sat there and watched them beat Philly when they were down 21-0 in the first quarter.
Well, and don't forget, Dan Quinn coached the Atlanta Falcons to the Super Bowl and had Tom Brady on the ropes. And I mean, let's remember what happened in that game. Like Dan Quinn can coach the football now, I mean, so that the Commanders Bucks one is intriguing also. I think the Vikings coming to the Rams, I think is a factor there. And that's going to be an interesting game. The Commanders Bucks one was the place I was going next, because speaking of two teams that people don't really talk about, I mean, people talk about the Commanders once they start talking about the Commanders, but it's not first on everybody's mind, and neither are the Buccaneers. So this is another matchup of two sort of, I guess under the radar teams, even though Jaden Daniels wasn't under the radar, but I think the Commanders walk away with it, but it's interesting, the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks slide into the playoffs in another division of just mediocre football this year.
Well, okay, so the Bucks were in arguably one of the worst divisions, right? So they go. That's how they get their seeding. But the Commanders, the quietest 12-5 season I've ever heard of. Where no one's talking about them. That's just how Dan and all them want it. But I think this is where their kind of luck of pulling out late games kind of runs out. Jaden Daniels has got to be the offensive or rookie MVP on offense, because this guy's the leading rusher for his team, and he's got Brian Robinson, very good, capable back. And then all the things he's doing through the air, and it's impressive for a guy to get that quickly. But they'll have a plan for him, and I just don't think that a Commanders defense can stop Bucky Irving and Rachaad White, and then you have to double team Mike Evans. You have to.
Yeah. Well, and don't count out Baker, right, in the playoffs. Like, he's just wily old vet. I know you love Baker.
I do. I've stood by him through thick and thin. I mean, this kid's story is really why. Walk on, wins Heisman, gets first overall pick, goes to Cleveland. Poor guy. So. And he's on all these commercials, and he's great at those commercials, but then he gets just thrown to Carolina, and then McVay scoops him because McVay knows. And then he goes to a 1-year deal and just, believes in himself and says, I'm going to go to Tampa. And then he gets paid a big payday. And now he's in his second straight playoff, and the experience. I thought he played a little tight against the Lions last year, even though it was a 1-score game to finish. And this year he's got a little more experience, a little more calm, and he's got a run game, which he's also talked about how much he loves. And the Commanders, we'll see what happens. But that Jaden Daniels being a rookie in the playoffs, it's tough. It's tough.
So, who's going to win?
I got the Bucks.
Okay. What about the Rams Vikings? We didn't get one from you on that.
I got the Rams. I think even though it's not an ideal matchup, playing the team that just got blown out, and they're a good team, they're going to be pissed off, and they're going to correct some things. But both teams have familiarity playing in the regular season. It was a close game, 1 score. I think the Rams, eked it out. I think they do it again this time.
Okay. I'm going to take the opposite on both those games just for fun.
Okay, good.
I think Daniels just is ready for his moment. He's going to light it up. I think he's a superstar. Every GM that needed a quarterback that didn't take him should be fired. I don't know. I mean, that guy, he looks like he looks incredible. I mean, barring any injuries or anything, knock on wood, I just see super bright future for that guy. And then I got to root against the Rams just because I have to root against the Rams. So there you go.
I'll be rooting again. I'll be happy to say I'm wrong again. All day, family.
Sticking with the NFC, the Packers and the Eagles, classic matchup here in Philadelphia. And yeah, I mean, just the Packers, another really just good team out of the NFC North. We saw what they did to us, and the Eagles, you can't sleep on them.
This is an interesting matchup because I don't know any update, but both quarterbacks are like injured. Well, like not just Jordan Love and Malik Willis for the Pack. So I don't know who might start for them. But then Jalen Hurts is technically finally out of concussion protocol, which was like 3 weeks. And so you don't, but either way, they are built to run the ball. Saquon Barkley, 2,000 yards. So, man, defensively, it's like, that's like, who do I trust more? Probably the Eagles. And so, yeah, so I'm going to go Eagles. They're going to go ground game, control the clock, and, not put Jalen Hurts in any harm's way. And then they're just going to shut him down on defense.
I think all three of these games, by the way, are going to be good games. I think these are great matchups. I think the Eagles do come out of this one. However, Saquon not playing, and we talked about like bye weeks and guys resting, and if Jalen's coming back after not being in, like I think the Eagles are going to win, but I think it's going to be shaky, especially.
Yeah.
I think
like you're saying, timing and chemistry could be a little off.
True. AFC, Bo Nix. Speaking of another rookie quarterback,
but these guys are 26 years old. Dr. Daniels and Dr. Nix, yeah.
QBDR, yeah. PhD. PhD is QB.
PhD QB. Yeah, it's the opposite of Doogie Howser.
Well, Bo Nix did. He took him to the playoffs here. He's in the playoffs against the Bills. He's got to go on the road. Tough one, upstate New York. But can the rookie do it against Josh Allen and the mighty Buffalo Bills of your childhood? I know you're rooting for the Bills.
There's no chance. I'll put it at 0.000000001.
So you're saying it's a chance.
It would take a miracle.
Wow.
For them. Yeah. Come on. Buffalo at home.
I know.
This
definitely seems like the most lopsided matchup of the whole weekend.
I'm telling you, if Buffalo does not at least get to the AFC Championship this year, that window's gone. Wow. Slam shut.
Yeah. Steelers, Ravens, Russ back in the playoffs. He's got the Steelers in the playoffs, but they got to go on the road and play possibly the hottest team in the NFL.
I mean, all signs point to Baltimore. It is hard for me to go against Russ. I know he's older and I know they're on a 4-game slide, but you can't lose them all. That was last year, right? Actually, no, that game was just past the first, wasn't it? Well, damn. I just
can't lose them all.
Yeah, Derrick Henry and Lamar. This is all Lamar was missing. And you see how much it opens up the pass game and how good. I mean, I don't know, 40 something touchdowns and 4 or 5 interceptions. It's insane. But he's got Derrick Henry to lean on, and the defense is still solid. So I got to go Baltimore, but I hope Russ just goes vintage and scrambles and throws the moon ball and just brings back all the feels.
Can I ask a question to the All Day family? This is a safe space, everybody. You're among friends and family. Real answers here. Are you rooting for Russ or not when you watch this game as a Seahawk fan? I know that maybe you'll tell your friends and your coworkers, I'm rooting for him. But then you go home and while you're watching, deep down when he throws one wide left, you're like, see, told you, right? Let's be honest. Come on now. Honest answers only. Don't give me any of the platitudes. I want to know for real. Are you rooting for number 3 in this one? I have to admit, I kind of am. I've kind of gotten over all the Denver stuff, and I don't even know what was going on with him and his team and all there's so many crazy stories out there and everything. And I got so bitter. I'm kind of over it. I like Tomlin. I hate the Steelers though. Good Lord. I can't root for the Steelers. I'm rooting for the Ravens. I'm sort of rooting for Russ. I honestly don't know how I feel. I'm pretty conflicted on it. I think I just talked myself out of rooting for him.
Yeah.
I don't know, because then I remembered he's playing for the Steelers, and I do love Tomlin. I mean, I really respect Mike Tomlin, but I can't ever root for the Steelers ever, and you know why.
Yeah. Oh, I just hate referees. I don't hate the Steelers.
Well, I take it.
I wouldn't give the ring back. I wouldn't give the ring. If it was the other way, I'm not giving that ring back.
No, I wouldn't either.
That never happened. Never happened.
All right. San Diego. I don't care. I'm calling them San Diego. San Diego and Houston. It's in Houston. The Chargers quietly had a really good season under Jim Harbaugh, coming back to the NFL. And the Texans are just on a slide, sort of, and just kind of not playing their best football, at least not the football they played early in the season. This is the first playoff game on Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Who you got?
Man, Texans, they were my pick to go to the Super Bowl with their free agent signings and everything. And then they lost Diggs. They lost Tank Dell. Like, they just keep losing guys. And those are hard guys to replace. And they still got some talent there, but it's been like Nico Collins. It's just been easier to game plan for. Still got Joe Mixon. I don't want to say Stroud's taken a step back, but he hasn't looked as good. Kind of like what happens sophomore slump. The film's out there, and now they know what you like to do and how to game plan. So I wanted to see more out of that defense. So I'm going to go Chargers in this one just because, Harbaugh's got the experience in terms of playoffs over D'Amico, who I got a lot of admiration and respect for as a player and also as a coach, and what he's doing is awesome. But I got to go Chargers in this one.
I am going to be rooting for the Texans with all my might, and I really hope that the Texans beat Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert duck. So I'm rooting for the Texans, but I don't think the Texans are gonna win. I think the Chargers probably win this one, but I hope that I'm wrong in that. Harbaugh, by the way, Harbaugh already looked silly enough with the khakis, and now he's got these Coke bottle glasses that are wider than his face.
He's got some thick lenses there.
Bro, he looks like Al Pacino at the end of Donnie Brasco.
What a good call.
He's got the giant glasses on.
Yeah.
Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Enjoy the playoff football out there. It's going to be fun. And we're going to go live after final game on Sunday. It's on Sunday.
Yeah.
9 p.m. 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Just
our regular time.
Regular all-day channel, regular all-day time. We'll be going live on Sunday night to talk about everything that happened, and then just preview the Rams and Vikings again. We'll give a lot more flowers.
By the way,
and all them.
Pete is interviewing in Chicago today.
Oh, late breaking news.
Are you going to send him a text or anything good luck in there? Keep any words of encouragement or anything, like a kid going off to his like an audition or something?
I mean,
break a leg.
I mean, was this his fourth NFL head coaching job? I think he'll be fine. I think he's figured it out by now. I don't think he needs any help.
If he's not hired by the end of the day, what the hell are they doing? Right?
Yeah.
Well,
seriously.
Yeah. Like, what did I say? I said Pete was always ahead of his time, and he is reaching his prime because Pete is a big kid, and that's what all these kids are. They're young, right? And so he would do very well.
Him with Caleb, I think he could help Caleb out. And the Chicago Bears, all the mystique around the monsters of the Midway, Pete would have a ton of fun with that. Man,
it would be that, or I would like to see him back in New England to finish what he started. Full circle moment of. They let him go, and then they went on a historic run, and Pete went on 2 historic runs. This would be some movie type shit. You want to talk about script, Brett? Go ahead and write it.
And taking over for Belichick too, stepping in.
Right.
Yeah, that could be very interesting. I think he takes that meeting. That's got to be a meeting that happens.
For sure. Yeah. Has to. Because we're talking about the best culture builder everywhere he's gone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, totally.
And that's what I think a lot of these owners are realizing is like, it doesn't matter how much you know about the X's and O's. It doesn't matter if you got all the Jimmies and the Joes. Can you build a culture?
Isn't it funny that we didn't even mention the Raiders job?
Oh. Oh, he'll probably stop by there too.
Yeah. Do you have one more second? I know you got to run. You have one more second?
Yeah, let me check the phone real quick.
Just the Tyreek Hill thing. He wants out. What's with players that demanding out these days? I know. Has it always really happened like this?
No. You better be of otherworldly talent to have some demands because, and it might be able to happen once, twice if you're like a Hall of Famer, and he's got that kind of talent, but like we haven't seen that much of him, right? And I know the quarterback was out, Tua was out, and so that affects Tyreek, but at his age, I don't know if the market's really going to be demanding his services. And but all these kids like looking at it like this ain't like, we talked about the portal before. The portal out of here is either this couch or another league.
Well, and didn't he kind of also make it that like he kind of made it happen? Him going to Miami, didn't he already?
He did. Yeah. Unless he wears number 10. Hope he has 9 lives like a cat. Because you can't keep asking for a trade. Eventually, they're just gonna be like, "I'm over you." Like that's just what's gonna happen. And then he'll play like a 1 year for Kansas City, and then he'll have another 1,500-yard season because he just runs, the go route with Mahomes, who has a cannon for an arm, and then someone will pay him, and then it's gonna happen again. Then it's gonna happen again, and so. But I've always watched, enjoyed watching him play. He is a beast.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just worry. I don't want this to become an epidemic of sorts. Like just where like you said, like there are very specific players who might be able to do this, but I just hope it doesn't become like a thing all the time because it's annoying, frankly. Like you're on the team, you signed the contract, here you are. Like I don't know. Like the players demanding trades. I mean, let's not have this become a thing.
Oh no, brother, it's here. Like, do you see what's going on down in college? And so they're becoming accustomed to like, well, I just don't like it here. I'm gonna go somewhere else. And like, it doesn't. Yeah, this is the year that we really became old men, Brett. So congratulations.
Yeah, it finally happened.
It was bound to happen. We've always like, they're just young. And now we're just bitching about, like these kids don't know how good they have it.
Oh man, we've been trying to tread water in this deep water for a while, but I'm getting tired.
That definitely a sign of aging. If you're tired,
I'm getting tired.
You need a nap, huh?
Oh, funny. Yes, I do. Thank you guys for joining us this episode. We'll see you this Sunday at 9 p.m. for the live episode. Shout out to Delta. Make sure you go with the throw and sign up for 12 status to get ready for next season because you will be getting 1 mile for every yard that a Seahawk throws for in the new offense. Go to 12status.com to sign up. It takes less than a minute, and you'll be happy that you did. You just get free air miles, everybody. Who doesn't want that? Also, shout out to simplyseattle.com. Thank them for furnishing our score prediction all season long. Go to simplyseattle.com. Use our promo code
all day, all caps.
That's right, for 15% off. Also, our merch store is still going strong, alldaybrand.co. Look at that. Lofa's wearing the pink elephant homage sweatshirt. That's the crew neck. It also comes in a t-shirt. Get your merch over there, everybody. I think we'll also be discounting some of that stuff. So
let's go.
Check it out and buy somebody a t-shirt. That's it for us. Hands in the middle, everybody. Let's break it down. Katie?
Give us a breakdown, Katie.
Give us a breakdown. You listened to the whole show.
I did.
Yeah, what do you like?
You know what? I like Mike.
Okay.
I like Mike on me. I like Mike on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I like Mike.
Bye, everybody.
I want to be like Mike. Oh, we're still recording.